Hey, welcome back everyone to another episode of Start Fishing. Before I get started, just a reminder, hit the subscribe button so that you can be kept up to date each time new content is added to my channel. Today, I'm starting off early, about 6 o'clock a.m. on Monday, December 20th, 2020. As you can see, I am beginning this trip from the fishing platform below the Clarkshill Reservoir Dam. I'm going to be fishing for hybrids and stripers and, well, whatever else bites. Now, if you look at the back of the dam, you can see that there are, at the moment, at least 2 units running or generating power. And this creates a lot of current, both electrical and water. Now, I almost always call the 1-800 number to see what the generation schedule is before coming, and will often call the control room to find out exactly which units they are in fact using. Now, I've included both of those numbers in the description below the video if you don't have them. But if you look at the back of the dam, starting from the right side at the wall and going out towards the rope, they have 7 different units that can run at any given time. This particular morning, when I called and found out that number 1 and number 7 would be running, I figured it would be a good opportunity to try fishing from the platform. So I'm using a 1/4 ounce jig rigged with a fluke. And it's a very simple rig, but it can be very effective. So as you can see, I'm casting out into the current, and I'm letting it do most of the work for me. If you watch, I'm reeling, but just enough to keep tension on the jig and keep it up off the bottom while the current does the rest of the work. Fish on. If you've never been to the fishing pavilion, you're going to get a good look at it, because I'm going to have to walk the whole platform to get this fish all the way down to the very end. And at the end, there are some stairs that go down, but because the water's so shallow, at the moment you're going to see I'm going to have to crawl down on the rocks to actually get down low enough to be able to get it in. Now, this is a fishing strategy I learned while visiting my dad in northwest Tennessee. You see, we were fishing below a dam on the Cumberland River, and there was a gentleman there who walked me through how he fishes for stripers. That by casting out into the current and letting that jig float down, it mimics an injured fish coming through the dam, and these stripers and hybrids are sitting right out there in the current, waiting to ambush. I remember he told me that you're going to feel the bottom as that jig bumps while the current carries it down. But that's what you want. And you're going to get snagged, but that's part of the game. Eventually, though, one of those bumps is going to be a thump, and you're going to have a fish on. It's still really dark, so I hope you can see me down there fighting. Even a moderately sized fish in this current is a real challenge. I am using some of my heaviest gear, which is not very heavy. I think I have 20-pound braid with a medium action rod. But honestly, if I were to hook into a big 40 or a 50-pound striper, I'm not sure I could turn it in this current. Once the fish is fairly worn out, you can see that the current will start to push it to the surface, and I'm able to reel it up and get it into the net. Whoops, that was a close one. I almost busted my keister. Those rocks can get really slippery, so you've got to be careful. The size limit on the Savannah River below Clarkshill Reservoir is 27 inches or more. This fish isn't even close, so I'm not even going to measure it, and I'm going to let her go. Fish on. This one's not quite as big as the last one. I wasn't really sure how my camera would do during a low light situation, and as you can see, it started off, it was probably not looking so well, but as the sun keeps coming up and it gets lighter and lighter, the footage looks much, much better. It's amazing to me that there's nobody else out here. Most of the time I'm out by myself. Once again, this was not a keeper, and so I even forget to bring it up and show it on the camera. I've got to get better at that. I think I do that quite a bit. I have to retrain my thinking so that I remember to show the fish off to y'all before returning them to the water.
At this point, I've moved down a little closer to the end of the pavilion, and I was a little surprised at this next fish. And it just goes to show you that this particular technique can be really effective for a lot of different species. At first, I thought this was a smallmouth bass, which would have been pretty amazing since they started showing up in the Savannah River in the shoals area of Augusta back in the late 2007, 2009, and it means they would have made it upstream through 2 dams to reach this area. But now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure that this was a red-eye bass that I picked up. But very, very cool catch. So I had a decision to make as to whether or not I was going to take the boat and go to the lake or stay at the river. And I decided to go ahead and stay here at the river based on how they were generating. So I wanted to move out to the rope and see how the hybrid bite was on the out there in the middle. So I used to be under the impression that it was illegal to actually tie up to the rope, but I was recently informed that it's a common practice among a lot of other fishermen to pull their boat up and actually attach to the rope and then stay stationary to fish out here in the current. I am using my trolling motor to actually anchor into one spot, and you'll see how I can use that to my advantage. So this is very tricky as well, though, because since I'm on this side of the rope, any hybrid that I catch, I'm not going to be able to pull it over the top of the rope. So I'm going to actually have to take my pole and stick it underneath the rope and then pull away from it, which can cause some problems, as you will see. I'm not going to let you know whether or not I catch this fish. I'm going to let you watch it until it ends. But I hit some definite snags along the way. I don't want there to be any confusion on what I just said. I was saying get off there, nothing else. Cussing is really not a part of my normal vocabulary. So what happened was when I put the pole underneath the rope there, if you go back and watch it again, you can see that I accidentally pulled the tip of my rod up. And when I did that, the line came up and got snagged on one of the buoys. It doesn't happen just once, but it actually happens twice. And so this is a big fish, and I just keep trying to find ways to lose it. Wow, what a fight. I can't believe I got that fish in after having it hung up twice on the buoys and just everything. But you can see how I'm just trying to balance not only fighting the fish, but also controlling the trolling motor to get me up to the rope and then back off in time to be able to actually pull it up. But great fight, good fish. And on the Savannah River below the dam, the minimum length for a hybrid or striper is 27 inches. Now, that's a big fish. And it just seems like for me, all my hybrids run between 24 and 25 inches, which is in fact what this fish ended up measuring in at, was about 25 inches. So I had to throw him back. So I'm still using the same technique that I was over there on the pavilion, and that's I'm just casting this fluke out into the current and just letting the current pull it down and waiting for that thump. But I actually caught, I think, 3 or 4 more that day, but I've included one more fish for this video. So thanks for joining me, and I hope you guys will come back and visit my channel again. But if you're interested, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I've got several more videos already lined up. It has been awesome. I love fishing in the winter on the Savannah River and up on the lake in the Augusta CSRA. So look forward to seeing you guys again. Bye.